Hello and welcome to the show. This week we will preview the 2017 Pirelli Bike of the Year competition, and Matt takes a trip down memory lane on this Italian beauty. Now, from this angle, you obviously know what bike it is, but you're wrong. Anyway, first we persuade Don to abandon his love of insane horsepower and go on a cruise.
Now, when we think of American cruisers, we think kind of rock and roll, you know, heavy guitar strumming, head banging, that sort of thing. But when we look at this, the Indian Scout 60, we're thinking of something a bit more subdued, a bit more laid back, a bit more chilled even. I'm thinking a bit of like jazz. As you may have seen from previous tests, we at the bike show like Indians. They have a sort of classical style, classiness, beauty, elegance, and sophistication that you don't quite find in anything else. It's a sort of thing that you feel but cannot quite quantify. Now, obviously, from all this classical style, classiness, beauty, elegance, and sophistication comes quite a hefty price tag, usually well above 300,000 Rand, meaning the more normal humans with a more normal paycheck have to sell various body organs to buy one. Obviously, this wasn't completely ideal for Indians, so 2 years ago they released the Scout, with the same classical style, classiness, beauty, elegance, and sophistication, but with a smaller motor, slightly less goodies, and a price tag that you only have to sell one of your kidneys to afford. But now Indian have gone one better with this, the Scout 60. All that classical style, classiness, beauty, well, etc., but for the pauper price of only, and there is a sarcastic quotation marks on that only, 149,000 Rand. For Indian, that's truly catering for the lower classes. Although to achieve this peasant price, they've had to make some sacrifices, starting with some CCs. What they've done with this is they've taken the piston and ground 134 cc's off of them, making this a 999 cc, or 61 cubic inches, or if you want to round it off, 60, hence this is called the 60. They were going to call it the 999, but Ducati already tried that and it kind of nearly bankrupted them. Of course, with a dip in piston size comes a dip in performance. The 60 pushes 74 horsepower and 89 Nm of torque. That's some distance from the 100 horsepower and 98 Nm of the Scout 1133. However, for once, this doesn't really bother me. Let's be frank, nobody buys a Scout, or any Indian for that matter, based on the performance section of their spec sheet. You buy one because they have that classical style, classiness, beauty, elegance, and, well, we've been through all that. And this, even though it is the thrifty little brother of the Indian range, has all of those things. The chassis and equipment, apart from the engine, are exactly the same as the 1133. Styling wise, the engine is a little more blacked out, the frame is a slightly different shade of black, and the seat has had its leather replaced by vinyl. Oh, and they've removed one gear, leaving it with a 5-speed gearbox. This sounds simple enough. You just angle grind off the 6th gear. But Indian have been clever about this and instead removed the 5th gear, meaning the gearbox essentially moves from 4th gear straight to 6th, providing a sort of overdrive cruise gear, and it works really well. The motor, although a bit down on its bigger brother, is so torquey that if they hadn't told us about this cut gear, we probably wouldn't have even noticed. So, this is a thoroughbred Indian. It looks like an Indian, it has the build quality of an Indian, and you get to join the exclusive Indian club. All for the price of half a gallbladder. That sounds like a win-win to me. And gentlemen, that's it. Road test done.
Oh, I say, that's very efficient of you. I don't suppose we'd be a bit cheeky to ask if you've got a rating for it already, or do you need some time to think?
Nah, I'd say, look, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. Not because I can actually point out anything wrong, but this is kind of the bottom of the range Indian. You know, to be a bit kind of, I don't know, overpraising to say 10 out of 10 because that's like glorious, but 8 out of 10 for entry level is very good.
But now listen, as our resident juvenile delinquent who's just in love with horsepower and speed,
Yeah.
how is life in the slow lane?
And the Harry Fisher lane, as I like to call it.
Oh, that's just
You know what it is,
cutting
okay?
deep,
You know what it
isn't
is. I like speed, I like horsepower, but, you know, every now and again, it's kind of nice to just settle down and relax. Every now and again. Yeah.
I never thought
yeah.
I'd see the day when he'd say that.
Yeah, well, on that every now and again thing...
You haven't told him yet, have you?
No, no.
Maybe you should just do that.
You know,
Tell me
we've got
what.
long-termers. You know, he's got the GT KTM and I've got the XR.
I don't like where this is going.
So I tell you what, mate, you're going to have the absolute pleasure, take the keys back, of spending the next 3 months with that Indian. We want you to get into the lifestyle, man. No,
No,
I'm telling
no.
you, there is a whole world out there
Well,
that doesn't involve speed.
Welcome
and-
to my world in the slow lane.
Yeah. That is a thing to behold. A quiet Donovan Faree.